Canon Films, the home of high-powered, high-voltage motion picture entertainment. With the screen's biggest spectacles, brightest stars, and boldest lineup of explosive entertainment. We're taking motion picture excitement over the edge and your box office over the top. We're Canon Films, and we're dynamite.
So this is a film that is notable for starring a real-life biker club as the bikers themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think the only actors are like the milquetoast male lead, the female lead, and like the sheriff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because while the bikers are the main characters in this film, they don't actually get that much character themselves. The film was made, I believe, in 1972, but wasn't released till about 1976. Its original title was, I believe, Freedom, Rest in Peace.
Yep, Freedom, R.I.P. Yep. That's what comes up at the very end of the movie. Just confusing if you didn't know that's what the name of the film was supposed to be called.
So you think that maybe it's just the final tagline?
Yeah.
Freedom, Rest in Peace.
Yeah.
Which makes sense within the context of the film.
Sort of, yeah.
And other than the one director, cinematographer, producer, writer, who never did anything again, the other director, William Deere, had a very fruitful career, most notable for directing the Crispin Glover serial killer film Simon Says and Harry and the Hendersons.
Yep.
But this was probably one of his earlier, like, I'm a rebel kind of movie.
And I noticed something straight away when I was watching the beginning of the movie with the opening credits, which is that the music...
Yes, I noticed this too.
...is by Michael Nesmith.
I actually had to go look it up to make sure it was him.
Yep, that's right. The music of this movie was done by the Thinking Man's Monkey. My favourite monkey, everyone's favourite monkey.
Wait, what are the other monkeys? I can't name them.
There's the good-looking one that I forget the name of.
Yeah.
There's the ugly one that was funny, and then there was Peter Tork, who didn't do anything as far as I know, right?
But Michael Nesmith
just stood there.
Usually when you talk about monkeys, in the context of making films and not like the ones writing screenplays and stuff like that, Michael Nesmith is the one that people think about because he like produced a bunch. I remember he produced Tapeheads.
And he's in Repo Man. He produced Repo Man as well.
Yes,
right?
I believe he did. Yep.
So there's Davy Jones, the good-looking one, the one the lassies fancied. There's Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah.
He's sort of the trollish-looking one that was the comedy one. Peter Tork, and then Michael Nesmith, who I have one amazing fact about, which is that his mother...
I was looking that up right now.
His mother invented correctional fluid.
So he was already rich.
Super rich.
Yeah.
And he just showed up to the audition with a bobble hat on, and they went, let's get the guy with the bobble hat. But he wrote many amazing Monkee songs. One of my favourites, Circle Sky, off the Head soundtrack. That's one of his.
So he was known as like the musical one of the group, pretty much then.
Yeah, although Davy Jones was very musical as well. He did a lot of good, more sort of show-tuning type of stuff.
Yeah.
I like the Monkees more than the Beatles, which is a crazy thing for a person to say. Like, I literally like the Monkees. I think they're much more interesting. It's the same way that I like the Insane Clown Posse more than I like, NWA.
Yeah, but that sounds like you're coming from a contrarian position.
No, because...
Did you grow up on the Monkees? Did you watch the TV show in merry old Scotland?
Yeah, I've seen a bunch. I saw a lot. They showed the Monkees on Nickelodeon, actually, when I was growing up.
Okay.
So, I guess because you just needed stuff to fill the time up. So I've seen loads of episodes.
And you're a big fan of Head?
I love Head. It's so good. I was considering making my recommendation, but I thought I could actually recommend something related to biker exploitation movies. But Head is fantastic, and lots of Monkees fans haven't actually seen it. So you should see it.
And Michael Nesmith's score for this movie, I think it was said in the trivia, he actually wrote it for free.
Yeah, because they were like, "Can you write the music?" And he was like, "Okay." And they were like, "We can't pay you." And he was like, "Fine, sure."
Dude, I'm rich.
I really don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, the music's better because it's not actually that great though. It's not like very memorable or whatever. Although there are some tracks in it which are weird where they kind of sing what's happening in the movie. Like they're like, there's. Well, let's just get into the explanation of the movie, right? The movie opens. We see our bikers. They're biking, I guess. Yep. And there's an old couple try to change the tire, and they're like, "Oh no, bikers!" So they go in their car, and the bikers all crowd around the car, all scary like, and you're like, "Oh man, these are the bad guys." But then they just change the tire and French the old lady, and she's like, "Oh, Harold," and he's like, "Seriously, guys, you totally stuck your tongue down my old wife's throat."
My favorite part is when he in the car when he helped.
Lip lock the old lady.
Well, that bitch followed me around for 2 days.
So. But we're supposed to think, what wacky, amazing, awesome people Frenching old ladies and changing tires, right? So we're supposed to love them.
And they're actually played by, like I said, a real biker group. I believe they were the Scorpion Motorcycle Club.
Yeah, from like Michigan, right?
Yeah.
From Detroit, right? Because I think it's essentially set in Michigan, I suppose, because they drive to Detroit, I think, to pick up guns later in the movie.
Yeah, that's right. And something that you notice right off the top is this is a kind of filmmaking style we haven't seen at Loose Cannons since probably John J. Avildsen's What Have We Learned in School Today, where it's a lot of wide-angle lenses, lots of close-ups, lots of cuts. It's like a filmmaker being like, I really don't have that much money, but I'll get a bunch of coverage, it's going to cut really fast.
Yeah, and so they get to Northville, I guess, and the cops stop them. And the cops are like, "You have to pass through town, get out of town." And they're like, "Why?" We're just like, biking. We're like good dudes. We just changed a guy's tire and French an old lady.
Well, you have to point out that they are kind of troublemakers.
Yeah, they're troublemakers.
And while I was watching it, I was like, does Matthew hate these people? Like, does he want to see them die? Well, because I can imagine in a day, if you met them, like, on the street, you'd be like, fuck them.
So we'll talk a little bit about the inciting incident of this movie and like, who you side with and as we get to that point. But basically the cops are like, the reason we have to pass through town is because you're not wearing helmets.
You ain't got no helmets. In this town, everybody wears a helmet. All you have to do is go straight. We'll be right behind you. Let's go.
Shit, all you gotta do is have long hair, ride a scooter, and wear colors. Everything you do is illegal. Amen. That's it, man.
And I was like, well, should they be allowed to be biking at this point if they're not wearing helmets? And then instead of letting them pass through town, they immediately put them in jail, which I find very confusing. And I was like, you get put in jail for not wearing your bike helmet?
Well, they said in the movie, the cops mentioned that the rule of not wearing a helmet is only in their town, too. Like, it's not like a statewide law or anything like that. But then they get in jail and they smoke up some movies.
Jesus reefer. This sounds like marijuana madness.
That's the most confusing thing. I was like, before you get put into a cell, surely they check you. But in the cell, all the bikers have weed, but the guy produces a gigantic bag of weed, like a huge one. And then there's another guy with a guitar and stuff. And then Michael Nesmith, I think it's Michael Nesmith's music, it's like, oh, we were in the jail cell, and the guy brought out a doobie, and we smoked the doobie, and everything was good. And I was like, all right, fair enough.
This is a fun little biker film. When does the massacre come out?
Yeah, exactly.
This is about where we got kicked out right here. That other hand was a cop.
You didn't tell him it was prop weed?
Yeah, I told him it was oregano.
So at this point, you're kind of like, all right, so what's really going to happen here? And then this part I don't understand at all. The bikers get taken to the judge, and the judge says, I know what you guys are like.
You guys are dirty bikers.
Yeah, I've seen the movies.
You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.
So then their punishment is he makes them bike through a car wash?
I don't know if that would be legally like...
Is that literally what happens?
Yes, that's what happens. They drive through a car wash, and then it seems like the whole town stands around like,
and he's like laughing and waving, like they're all happy about it. It's very confusing.
You have been found guilty by a fair and impartial court of justice. Therefore, by the power vested in me by this
I wasn't sure. Here's the part that got me 90 days right here.
That guy worked at the auto park.
I know, but the judge that came in there and said we made a mockery out of the judicial system.
And it's interesting how he says, I know what you guys are like, I've seen the movies, because one of the things I was reading about this movie is that this biker movie was way late.
Yeah, in the biker.
Because there've been so many biker movies by
mostly
this point.
led by Roger Corman, like The Wild Angel, and I believe, because Easy Rider was like the end of those biker movies.
Yeah.
And Easy Rider had come out a few years before Freedom, Rest in Peace, a.k.a. the Northville Cemetery Massacre, was shot, and then it came out like 4 years later.
Yeah, so this is way late for biker movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just helping you out.
But the bike gang, they're going to have a wedding. One of the biker ladies and one of the biker men are going to get married, so they go to just a sort of a random barn. And then our main character, I guess, Chris, who is, speaking of Easy Rider, sort of, I think, supposed to be a good-looking Peter Fonda type. He's got the Peter...
Yeah, he's definitely the Peter Fonda type.
When we initially see him, he's got the Peter Fonda glasses on, and he's got that blonde hair, and he basically calls his girlfriend, who I guess lives... Oh, so the idea is he just stands outside of Northville usually, selling weed. Mm-hmm. And he hangs out with the biker gang because they've just come to town. He calls his girlfriend, and he's like, let's just go to this wedding, it'll be fun. So they go to the wedding. They don't really engage with this wedding, though, to be honest.
They just go over to the barn and fuck.
Yeah, later.
This shooting in this scene?
They didn't let us watch the rape scene.
No.
This one here had that sweet innocent.
So who was she? Some groupie?
Yeah. This one here is classy stuff.
Yeah, well, I wonder what she looks like now.
They all write this music too?
Well, can't look much worse than us. Look around you, I'll bet you'd still fit in.
Yeah, they go to the barn, they mess about with a chicken. The chicken's like, listen guys, just leave me alone, but they keep fucking with this chicken.
Maybe that's why everything bad that happens past this
true.
point is the chicken is the mastermind.
Yeah, the final shot of this movie had been the chicken, just and then the music's like, I'd be like, it all makes sense now. Although this movie did basically make sense, I'll make that clear. Unlike a lot of movies we've watched, this movie's pretty much closed loop. Makes perfect sense all the way through.
He was a prospect for the colonel then.
So they go to the barn, they take their clothes off, they have sex, we don't see anything. It's not particularly exploitative in any way.
The bikers are having fun, then the cops show up.
The cops, all the sirens and everything, they're really noisy. The cops show up and they're like, look.
Yeah, but they're led by one guy who seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, one guy is pretty reasonable, but there's one cop there who's just itching to kill some goddamn bikers. He's you can see him, he's he's shaking holding the gun, and he hates the bikers so much. He never speaks or anything in the sequence. He just hates bikers so much. And basically they're like, we've had complaints, get off this land, it's not your land. And the bikers are like, well, whatever. They all ride off after slashing the policeman's tires, somehow without them noticing. It's really
I noticed. One of the guys ducked under.
Yeah, but I mean, without the police noticing.
Yeah. And then they leave, but then those two people that are not part of the biker gang are
because the bikers are not the bikers didn't do a head count.
Yeah.
They didn't make sure that they were aware everyone was. They kinda didn't do Chris, our main character, and his partner, a solid there. They just rode off without them. Maybe that's what bikers are like, but I gotta say, you should do a head count. But the policemen, I guess they go and check out the barn. So we have incredibly angry, I want to murder all bikers guy. He comes up into the barn, and I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's like,
you fucking troublemaker.
Yeah, I'm really angry.
What is this? Hell's Angels visits a farm?
Night of the Living Bikers. Yeah, there we go.
And he rips off Chris. They're both naked, him and the girl.
Chris stands up to put his trousers on. And he's like, I said get up, not get dressed. And
he smacks Chris in the face. Chris falls over
unconscious. And
then the guy rapes the woman, who he states he knows who she is.
Yes.
She's the daughter of one of, I guess, the major business owners of Northville.
What are you doing with that motorcycle animal?
You're the animal.
I'm taking you home. I'm taking you home, you old man. Get dressed.
Creepy Creedy. Sure, I want to know.
And so this is the inciting incident, right?
Yes.
And he holds her down. We don't really see anything.
It's actually, again,
to a wide shot. Not exploitative at all. Yeah. Again, I mean, what has happened is exploitation.
Yeah, that the sheriff is like, I hate bikers so much, I'm gonna rape. Not only does he rape the woman, but in front of his deputy.
And the deputy guy, he's like sad, and when the guy stands up, he's like, "Oh, do you want a piece of this?" He's like, "No," and like he's like lame. And this guy we never see again. He never pays for being a shitty guy who just stood there.
Yeah,
like which annoyed me in the end.
But what are you gonna learn about the movie? It's not really about payback. Like it doesn't have the structure that you think it would.
This is what I think is interesting is that like there's a couple of layers here, right? First of all, this movie kind of doesn't necessarily go the way that you think it's going to go from this point on. It's not about bikers getting revenge from this point on. You kind of think that from this point on, well, the bikers now have to get revenge. Not what happens. They actually twist it on that. And the other sort of thing, which I think is interesting, is like, so in the last few movies we've watched, like the very last one, a woman gets, assaulted, and I'm like, I'm like not happy about it. And like in this movie, I'm not happy that it happened, but I was kind of like, okay, now things are going to happen off of the back of that, so it doesn't feel like.
So wait, you appreciate when a woman gets sexually assaulted?
The thing is
that
like,
will propel action forward.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like that's probably even worse because it's like lazy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a really bad, lame
it's a trope.
It's a lame, terrible trope. But for some reason, I was like, stuff's gonna happen now, like because I'm a terrible person. Like I'm because it's just like you think, well, something has happened, and now things are going to happen. Unlike the previous movie where I was just like, that's just pointless.
Yeah.
And this time I'm like, I didn't like what happened, but now things are going to happen because of it. So I guess I'm okay with it because
I don't even know which way I could attack you on this one.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're just gonna move on.
No, but I feel like
what happens in the movie too, just to keep going and keep moving, that the woman gets sexually assaulted, and then the sheriff tells her, "Tell them it was the bikers."
He basically says, "If you tell anyone it was me, I will kill this guy that you care about,
Chris."
Diplomatic community.
Yeah.
Who we should point out that we're not 100% sure, but it seems to indicate that Nick Nolte voiced that character.
Yes.
That hit him. Oh, that really sucked, man.
Because he didn't voice any of the bikers. Because the bikers are non-actors, and they kind of act like non-actactors, which I think may be one of the reasons that the bikers themselves don't really have that much character beyond a dude named Lemon and the leader of the biker crew. Because other than that, they're kind of like, oh, it's that guy or that guy. They don't get beats or anything like that normal characters would usually get.
Here's what happens, though. What happens is, our evil sheriff guy, he takes the woman's father, like, out to lunch or something.
Yeah.
And
the father seems angry that it happened, and especially the woman told him that bikers did it, but he doesn't seem enraged.
But
you know what I mean? He's angry.
But he is angry, and basically the sheriff is like, well, because of what happened to your daughter and the bikers did it, we should go and kill a bunch of bikers illegally. And he's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that, but I think you're correct. And I was like, this is like so fucked up, right?
He was just as fucking weird in real life as he was, he could have been that cop for all I fucking know.
He's like going for a meal, and like this guy seems to get away with it, and everything is horrible. And they refer to the bikers multiple times as, and this is a slur that maybe you don't want to hear, as motorcycle mongoloids.
They say it multiple
times in this movie.
Motorcycle mongoloids.
Look, my daughter was raped and beaten by some motorcycle mongoloids.
Biker gang?
Yeah. He's got Einstein running point for him.
I was like, wow, that is that a thing people referred to bikers as?
Back in the early 70s?
Like, I don't know.
So then we go to the bikers clubhouse, which I have to point out is riddled with Nazi paraphernalia.
Yeah, I was questioning this. I was like, okay, so I'm on the biker side of this point.
Yeah.
I was like, they're gonna have to start getting their own back on this terrible sheriff rapisty guy, right? So we cut to the biker club. They have, a 16mm rubber film of the wedding, which I didn't notice anyone was taking, but they're watching it. They're like playing poker and stuff. They have a whole table set up for sandwiches, which just has Miracle Whip and peanut butter.
Hey man, you gotta live cheap.
And I was like, I don't understand. Miracle Whip and peanut butter sandwiches? Is that a thing?
First off, Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise, okay? Looks like it doesn't equal taste like it. Secondly, every time it's like they gotta slather an entire jar. Bastard just screwed with us now.
They have a laughing skull that when you hit it, it laughs. Like, ah!
And they have. loads of fucking Nazi fucking stuff everywhere, like everywhere. And I was like, is it ironic? I don't like. Is it
Like, are they like a hipster biker club?
We're the toughest giant in the valley, and you gotta back that up.
I went into a bar, right, and there was like a huge fucking swastika on the wall. I would like Grandpa Simpson my way right back out of there. You know, like. I mean, if I could get out, and it's not just one, right? Because we see one in the back, and it's not that big, and I was like, okay, maybe they just have like the one up. But then later on, we see a gigantic one with like those the wings sort of iconography and everything. And I was like, what the hell, guys? Like
what if they were like, and we hate blacks and Jews?
Yeah, that would change. Well, it wouldn't change the movie at all.
But anyway, so what happens is they're kind of hanging out, they're laughing, and two of them decide to go pee together.
They pee together because bikers are like, they're like stereotypical idea of ladies. You have to go to the bathroom with another person.
One for all for one. Let's die together. Let's fight together. Let's together.
And do they not have a bathroom in their clubhouse? Because they just go outside to pee against the wall.
It's like dogs, right? They gotta keep marking the territory because otherwise another biker gang will come and smell the area, right? Oh, nobody's peed on this place, and then they'll pee on, and then they have to be like, oh no, this other biker gang peed.
So they go out and pee,
and then one of them explodes.
Oh my god! So this is probably, other than the biker and the style of the movie, the most noticeable thing about this film is the giant squibs. They're basically Paul Verhoeven squibs. Have you ever seen RoboCop or Total Recall?
And this first squib is ridiculously gigantic. It's like the guy's whole chest explodes.
It's like he got shot by like a shotgun from point blank range.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I was like, whoa! I was like, this is amazing! Like, it was like actually exciting when he exploded. And then they sort of run outside, and there's like some shooting and stuff. But more or less the most exciting thing about this violence, because it's not particularly well directed or particularly exciting, is that the squibs are always crazy entertaining. They're like so good. Slow motion squib explosions, it's the best. Like this first squib is so good. Loved it.
And there's a lot of them in this movie.
Oh yeah.
So the bikers just kind of run in, and that's it. I'm getting a little lost here because not much happens until the climax, where the bikers at this point decide like who's shooting at us, who could it be, and they go see another biker club.
Yeah. So before that, we cut to the dad. Mm-hmm. And the racist, well, he's not racist, well, he's probably racist as well, so the sheriff guy, but then another guy, right?
Who's just like a random hunter
and
who just wants in on it.
Who's this guy, right? So they're like, hey, how was the killing? How did it make you feel? To the dad, and the dad's like, I don't know, it felt like the war, he's all kind of like, this is like one of those movies that's kind of, it's not a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's got similar things in the movie to Joe, when it's like men who came back from the war and dealing with, young people, the way young people live, and a person who's trying to get the other person to do stuff.
That's actually a really good comparison to Joe, because if the film was shown from the perspective of the dad and the hunter and the sheriff, you basically have another version of Joe that instead of ending with them killing a bunch of people in a house, it just kept going after they killed a bunch of people.
So yeah, he's like, just like the war, but then he's like, hey, why is this guy involved exactly? And the hunter guy is, I think it's an amazingly interesting speech, I thought. Where basically he's like, I'm a hunter, I love hunting, and then the guy's like, what, you're fucking doing it for the sport? That's disgusting. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it for the sport. It's like, if you have a herd, and then some of the animals get out of line, you gotta kill them because it damages the integrity of the herd. And as far as I'm concerned, these bikers have given up any right to due process and the trial and stuff. They are madmen. They will never be rehabilitated. We should kill them all for the good of the human herd. And I was like, that's kind of interesting.
I thought you were gonna be like, oh yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I do not agree with that.
I'd destroy it. John, I'm a sportsman. I enjoy the elemental challenges of hunting, big game and small. It excites me. And I'm good. One of the best.
So you're in this for the sport?
Don't be absurd. There's no sport involved in shooting a standing target at 100 yards. Not with a scope. No, like any serious hunter, I'm also an ecologist. In other words, I'm basically interested in protecting and preserving the herd. Why, if a wolf or a wild boar threaten my deer, or a tomcat is killing my pets, I'd destroy it.
This guy is the guy I hated, Armstrong. He was a smug asshole.
Yeah, he was good for that part. Yeah. I could see him as being a smug asshole.
We just have the daughter and the good-looking boy, Chris, and Chris goes to see the daughter. She's like, "Oh, everything's fine. I just got roughed up a little bit."
What happened?
She doesn't want to tell him, and he's like, "Okay, well, I'm just gonna let you know for no particular good reason. We're gonna meet the other biker gang
because they think that the other biker gang may be the one who did the shooting."
I just woke up here. Father was here for a while, but I really don't remember too much.
Did you tell him who did it?
Yeah.
What's he gonna do?
Oh, I don't know. Sue him, I guess.
You know who I would like to sue? Everybody that works in the hospital that you were born at. Because I would like to sue them for not responsibly pulling your head off the second. Letting you live was medical malpractice.
But some of the guys seem to think it was another motorcycle club. The road agents.
The road agents? They're a weird outfit.
You know them?
You want to be a road agent? Deal out death when called upon?
Meanwhile, a hatchet-faced fucking old boot of a nurse. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking tell on him."
Ugh, I wish she had somehow gotten blown away, like in the climax.
Oh yeah,
like she was there.
That'd been so good. And she tells the dad, so they know where the bikers are gonna be.
There's no Ratchet. Ratchet's mom.
And they're going to a drive-in.
No, I've never been to a drive-in. You ever been?
Oh, multiple times. There's one at Oakville. I go usually once or twice a year.
Is it good? Like,
it's super fun. The problem is, even during the summer, it gets cold at night, so the windows start fogging up because you're breathing inside of it. I went to a triple bill that ended with Jaws, and they go late though. They go to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, and it's just like people can't take that. At least the person that was driving me at the time couldn't stay up that late. I could. Like during holiday weekends, they play like 5 movies for $10.
Yeah, I feel like it's something I should do before they go away forever. But
yeah, because they are going to go away forever.
But it doesn't involve a car. Because it just looks so cute. You know, like the you get a thing with the noise.
Oh, that does not exist
speaker
anymore.
Or whatever.
No, you tune into a radio station.
You tune into a radio station. That's even
so it
cooler.
Comes in through your car.
Wow, that means if you have a good sound system, it's still good.
Yep, and the drive-in, the way that it's set up at it's called the Oakville 5. It's in Oakville. They actually have 3 screens, and you can see one of the other. You can't skip screens, which is like the worst part. But there's like a playground at the front of the screen. If you arrive early, there's a volleyball pit. There's like popcorn and hot dogs and tons of stuff.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
I gotta do this.
Yep, you should come. It's cheaper if there's more people in the car.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's hilarious. Okay, definitely. One time we will do this. Yep. But what we will not do at the drive-in is get involved in another shootout, which is what happens.
And we should clarify that all of these shootouts have just been the bikers being shot in slow motion.
So at this point, I was really digging the slow motion squib action. I was enjoying it so much.
I like you're not questioning yourself about your excitement of these squibs going off.
Yeah, violence is whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Because
it's sex. You're like, whoa, the violence.
I mean, like,
cut that bitch's head off.
Not like that. The point is
I'm just quoting.
You're just quoting. No, the point is like using people like women and so on.
Yes.
In a certain boring tropey way is not good.
The slow motion squids on bikers.
Yeah, it's like who cares?
There's a lot of women that get blown away in this movie too.
That's true. I don't question that. I'm like, yeah, come on, big squib, amazing. I mean, like, I don't know.
Matthew's having a dark night of the soul right now. So the bikers, I was a little bit disappointed in this driving scene because it's over pretty quick.
It's over pretty quick.
Getting shot and then they run away.
But I think it's kind of cool because the one biker gang, they grab the head of the other biker gang, the one that they met, and they like drag him into a gas station bathroom, and they do field medicine on his leg. And that's kind of cool. You know, they kind of like
they're helping each other out. They're showing that the bikers aren't like bad guys here, and that they will help each other.
So then the biker guy, the main biker guy,
is like something's fucking going on.
Yeah, we're gonna ride.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't really know what that means.
Harry, why don't you go in the clubhouse and tell all the guys to get their shit together. We're going on a run.
Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Fear, that's the other guy's problem. Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Right. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. Make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. Are you with me?
Yeah, but we gotta kill him, motherfucker! We gotta kill him!
The idea is basically they go to Detroit, right?
Suburban Detroit.
Suburban Detroit, where you're viewing them through what I thought was a sniper scope. They're going down the road, and I thought, oh my god, these guys know where they are. They're gonna start getting shot off their bikes again. No, they're being viewed through a periscope, which is confusing, first of all, which the sort of the viewfinder of is in a monk statue on a guy's lawn.
I would assume it's probably like a Catholic or Christian
it's like,
statue.
you walk around here, I sort of live in the sort of...
Have you heard the good news? He is risen.
He's got a non-naughty monk who has a sort of a viewfinder in him. This guy, so they basically
probably the wackiest scene of the movie.
Yeah, which is like, it's very confusing. They go down, they meet a guy who does a parody of Patton for some reason in front of a big
American flag
as you would expect from Patton, and he basically says, "Guns are amazing.
One of your most precious freedoms is the right to bear arms."
Fucking A.
He says, "Guns are amazing. Everybody loves guns. They're your God-given right as an American. Have some delicious, delicious guns."
Pack the crap. We come for guns.
Gentlemen, your guns.
Fucking A.
Just give them loads of guns.
So is this some like heavy-handed like commentary? It's like, oh, the weapons are in suburbia, and that's where...
I do feel like a lot of the movies sort of tried to be sort of Joe-style commentary, almost about hypocrisy and so on, but it's all very...
At this point, silly.
I mean, this is not... This is like... I mean... It doesn't. It's kind of like you feel like the movie's going to start getting really crazy at this point,
and it doesn't. It takes a little while.
It doesn't like. It doesn't really get crazy. It's not that funny. But what I thought was funny was just the way that this guy is like. He's like basically the gun store from Commando. Like a Commando, he goes into what just seems to be a totally ordinary sporting goods store. And he just like pushes a button underneath the table, and then it's like there's a room at the back which has like rocket launchers and shit in it, and you're like, this is what this guy's house is like, which is kind of funny, but it's not funny
enough. And the scene actually goes pretty long. So I'm chomping at the bit here. I'm like, yeah, the bikers are gonna get revenge.
So they start to go back to Northville. Then I'm not really clear what the reasoning for this is, but they do a clever thing, which is a trucker stops for them, and they get put in the back of the truck so they can get back into town without getting checked by the police, because they weren't supposed to leave town anyway. We kind of forgot that when they left. But they get back in the back of a truck, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Real torque-like.
Yeah, very torquey. Peter Torquey.
What?
You know Peter Tork from the Monkees.
Oh, yeah, you just mentioned it. I already forgot. There's only so much information I have in my mind. But that Simpsons joke is like, Marge, remember when I took that wine making class? I forgot how to drive. That's because you were drunk over.
So Chris goes back to meet his girlfriend again in the hospital, and she's like, look, I lied to you. He raped me. And my dad is really angry about it and scary, and then tell him stuff. And he's like, what the fuck? Like,
Chris, I have a confession to make. I lied to you yesterday.
About what?
I really didn't tell my father about the cops.
You didn't? Why the hell not?
Because the cop told me he'd kill you if I did. And I believe he would. I really do.
So what did you tell your father?
I didn't tell him anything.
Shit get fucked up around here, you blame me.
And she's like, look, it's very, very difficult for women to talk about this type of stuff. Like, so it's pretty clearly, she doesn't say any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's totally
You're just imposing your male view.
Yeah. She's basically, it's completely understandable that she'd be awkward about having this discussion because it is like the 70s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even now, people aren't going to want to talk about it seriously. Like, a policeman did it, right? Mm-hmm. So, basically, but she's like, look, my dad, I'm going to tell my dad soon because he's so full of anger and hate that it's kind of scary. He's like, okay, fair enough, and just leaves or whatever. It's not really. He doesn't really like engage with it at all. So
what did
one of the bikers?
Well, she goes back to the next morning. She sees her dad, and her dad does the thing where you like, which only surely this only happens in movies.
Yes.
Where characters go, I have something really important to tell you, and the other guy goes, no, tell me it tomorrow, or tell me later on.
I will tell you. It will be a second.
Like you just yell out as fast as possible, wouldn't you? At that point, because
she has time to be like, Dad, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. But then she probably doesn't really yell it down the hall, and then evil nurse bitch face comes in, and she's like, what are you yelling about? I'm gonna have to sedate you. That's what I'm gonna have to do.
Doesn't she get sedated too? Because isn't she like,
yeah?
Her dad comes in.
So
now, what's all the excitement about, Miss Tyner?
Daddy,
I've just come back to tell you that after today, everything's going to be all right. Believe me.
going in those clothes?
I'm late for a very important meeting, dear.
Daddy, I have something very important to tell you.
You'll have to tell me later, dear. I'll come back this afternoon and we'll have a long talk.
You done fucked up!
You forgot another biker for some reason gets killed.
Oh yeah. That's not really that important. Though.
No, it isn't. One of the bikers named Lemon, his bike keeps getting broken down, and the sheriff just kills him.
Yeah, but he does a little speech or whatever, but it's not really that. It's not like one of those good speeches in the movie where like he's just like a fucking biker's back.
Yeah, he's just like a biker. There's a crazy squib when he gets shot.
Oh, it's a great squib. He like and he falls into the water, and the water gets so bloody.
Yeah, instantly.
Super good.
There's a brown bomber.
Duh. How many times did you have to do that?
This scene was shot in the winter. We had to chip the ice off of that.
Yeah, I remember. Hit him with the wrench. Look at this. Some cop give me that much shit. I think I'd have caught on to this. So I gotta go, man.
Oh, man.
You dirty motherfucker, man.
So the bikers are going off to their funeral in like their big
to the Northville Cemetery.
Northville Cemetery. I was like, oh yeah, and the cops stop them, and they're like, they check all the bikers, and they're like, oh, none of the bikers have guns on them, they're clean. And then they go.
They make a joke where the police show up and go every like funeral car, and they're like, this isn't the way to the pet cemetery or the dog cemetery,
something like that. Yeah,
and it's like that joke again in The Simpsons where it's like, do you come with the car?
Yeah,
the guy goes to every car.
They do it 3 times,
and the driver goes,
hey, this ain't the way the dog cemetery is, Bill. Yeah, this ain't the way the dog cemetery is. Yeah, this ain't the way the dog cemetery is.
You want a fist in the mouth?
Each time. So you're like, I hope this fucker dies.
So they go to check the coffins, and then the one biker's like, you're not gonna fucking do that.
A little self-respect.
Yeah.
And even before this point, like, I mean, you knew straight away, those fucking coffins are full of guns.
I didn't even think of that.
You didn't think of it?
No.
I knew straight away. I was like, those coffins are full of guns.
Fucking A.
I don't know why they're full of guns. I guess it's just the bikers are clever enough
that they know they're going to be attacked if they're out in public.
They're out in public, so they just fill. So they don't check. They get to the cemetery, they put the coffins down, and then one guy gives what I think is a really touching eulogy.
Yes,
he does the
with a Jesus shirt on.
With a Jesus shirt on, yep, not a naughty Jesus, just a legit Jesus. The Jesus on his shirt is not in a cage, and he's kind of like, you know, I wrote all this stuff and I practiced it. It's kind of like the type of thing if you saw it in like a legit movie, you'd be like, oh, I get this. Yeah. He's like, I wrote this thing down, but I realised that me having rehearsed something, it's not good enough for Badger, Spikey, and Lemon, or whatever their names were, you know.
I stayed up last night, and I wrote down what I was going to say today. After writing it on a piece of paper, and looking at it, and memorizing it, I just couldn't bring myself to saying it. Lester, Bummer, and Clarence, they deserve more than that. It sounds too rehearsed. And nothing in our life is rehearsed. It's all real. We take it like it comes and give it back twice as hard.
That's the right on, man. You said it all.
Sound too rehearsed.
It was actually, you know, it was a pretty well done.
Killdozer, Banana Joseph, Franklin,
Turtle, Snapper, Big Dick Joe.
Yeah. So anyway,
he gives a speech.
It's kind of, and then he explodes. and then this is the best thing. I was kind of like, yes, because he doesn't explode. They're killing them from a helicopter. They're like flying around the helicopter shooting. And I was like, this has gone to a whole nother level. Kind of.
Because it started happening. I'm like, okay, so how's this gonna go? And then they open the coffins and they take their guns out.
Yeah, they take their guns out.
And then for 10 minutes, we just watch bikers get killed.
Yeah,
in slow motion.
It's one of those kind of not that exciting fight scenes where
it's
you just
Sam Peckinpah
we're kind of
style.
Bang, 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 and then one of them dies, and then the helicopter flies around and they shoot a lot. It's not very entertaining.
The problem is there's no back and forth.
No.
The bikers are never hitting the people in the helicopter.
And the thing is that, like, it seems kind of pointless to fucking shoot a helicopter anyway. right?
Yeah. They always shoot the gas tank and it's...
Or they shoot the guy flying a helicopter.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was so engaged with the realism of this movie that I was like, you're never gonna hit a helicopter, man.
And they never do, so you're like, that's the way I want it.
You have a gun, there's a guy in a helicopter, he's flying around shooting you. You're gonna bother shooting at it? I don't think I'm gonna bother. I'm just gonna hold on to the gun and maybe I'll use it later on.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't get killed by the guy in the helicopter already.
But the people in the helicopter killed him so badly that like no one is moving.
No, they're all lying down, right?
Yeah.
So then they're kind of like, well, we have to land now and start just like picking them off on the ground.
Now at this point, like you're the dad, right? Like, are you like, I've killed enough people?
Yeah, they've killed a lot. They've killed 40
so many people. So they've killed like 40 people. Men, women, like you see women get blown away too.
Yeah, lots of women. And when they land, they continue to kill women. Like,
yeah, they continue to kill. And there's like close-ups of them being like, no!
And lots of the women aren't trying to attack them. One woman who gets
trying to pull someone away.
They're just like, you gotta kill them all, wipe them all out. Because I think the thing is, like, at this point, they have to get out of this situation with no witnesses, right? Which is, now, early in the movie, I forgot to mention this, the guy with the guns also sells them for hand grenades.
He's like, I can't rent them.
And I was thinking, while they're shooting in a helicopter,
they throw a hand grenade.
I was like, I would never throw a hand grenade at a helicopter because
it would come right back down.
I wouldn't manage to do it. But I was like, I hope they blow up that fucking helicopter. And then this one guy does. He throws the hand grenade and it blows up the helicopter.
And I have to point something out, which is, how complicit is this helicopter driver in the movie?
Yeah, because he just starts killing folk as well.
Yeah, he starts killing people. Not only that, when it blows up, he probably has the most brutal deaths out of anyone because he's like on fire and like screaming and rolling around.
It's like amazing because I sort of like that sort of thing. Again, into the realism of this movie, where I was like, these guys are fucked now because how can you explain an exploded helicopter?
Yeah.
Like a thing. It's like it's going to become obvious that all these bikers are dead for reasons, right? So,
but they could just be like, the bikers went crazy, they tried to kill us.
Yeah, bikers stand up. They, well, I mean, it's like, why are you there in a helicopter anyway, mate? Yeah. With a bunch of guns. That doesn't make any sense. I suppose they would get away with it, but it's not important because what we watch for a period of time is 3 guys continue to kill bikers.
Oh my god!
Because the bikers are the worst shots
They're
ever.
like stormtrooper level shots.
Yeah, like, but then it's like, that's kind of good maybe, because these bikers aren't used to firing guns. Nope. They're like good dudes. They're usually busy Frenching old women and changing tires, not firing guns.
I hope
the police.
you fell in love with all these bikers, because they get moments where they like run at them and they get shot.
And they're always trying to save each other. They're always like, no, don't. And then they get annoyed because their friend dies, and then they just die because of that.
Yeah. Look out!
So they've killed basically everyone. Chris runs because he sees that it's the dad, right?
Yeah.
So he starts to run for some reason, which is the least sense, and he gets shot like 2 times, just lying there on the ground.
I was really looking forward to the woman who got raped. We should say her name.
I don't know what it is.
And I'm not looking forward, but expecting the woman to arrive and her dad to shoot her.
Oh yeah, like Joe.
Like Joe, yeah, and that doesn't happen. Sadly.
So her name in the film is, I don't know, Lynn maybe? I think it's maybe Jan Sisk, because is this the first woman, or is she Dee Dee? Because...
Who cares? Anyway, she shows up.
Who cares? After all the judgment that you made of me, of my personal difficulties.
Well, we just need to move on, because bikers are getting killed in brutal slow motion. Like, the squib budget must have been
here's the point. Dee Dee or Lynn or whoever, after all the bikers are dead, she just arrives for some reason.
We don't know why.
Like, why is that? That's the one part of the movie, and I said, if that's in realism, I just didn't get. Why is she at the cemetery now? Like, wasn't she still in the hospital? But she arrives there, and then the dad, and she runs to Chris, right? Who's all bloody and stuff. She's like, oh no, Chris. And the dad runs up, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
He goes, doesn't make any sense, even in the reality of this movie. What are you doing here? And she goes, well, it wasn't the bikers, it was that guy.
The sheriff.
And the sheriff goes, oh yeah? And just fucking squibs that dad. He squibs him.
Yeah.
Like he explodes again. And it's like amazing. And I was like, yes, exactly what I was hoping for.
And we've skipped that the sportsman guy was firing on a biker running toward him on a motorcycle, and he seems to be like sliced by a samurai sword.
Yeah, the biker just rides him, and it's like if a biker hits you with a bike, sort of side on, your guts explode or whatever. That happens before this, but then so all we have left is the girl,
Chris,
and the sheriff, and then I think the sheriff is gonna shoot the girl, but then suddenly out of nowhere Chris is standing up holding a gun as well.
Yeah, and the sheriff pulls the trigger and
it goes clicks.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends.
Yeah! How badly did you want to see that sheriff get blown away?
No, I was like, it's going to end like this. It's going to end with no shot because the bikers are better than this guy or whatever.
Oh, you think so? After he killed all of them? If that was you would have like blown him away.
Oh yeah, I would have
eaten his eyes or something like that.
Yeah,
or
gone medieval on that guy.
Yeah.
You know, like had I been like, bend over. This gun is going up you, and I'm going to fire you, and the squib is going to be so good when your like head explodes.
Yeah, that's the one thing the movie didn't have was like a head explosion.
Yeah.
Like if the sheriff's head had been like, pfft.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they could have done it because there were so many squibs. Like there's so many squibs in this movie that it feels like people must have been hurt doing this.
Oh yeah,
huge squibs.
Huge squibs.
And in 1971, 72 it was shot. Like those must have hurt because they still hurt today if you're squibbed up.
Yeah.
The impact. And it's like flesh and stuff flying everywhere.
Yeah. But then those were all hardcore, legit bikers, right?
Yeah. So they're like, we could take this.
We could take it. I mean, maybe those biker guys were like, when they put like one blood packer on them, they were like, no, more.
Yeah.
More. Make it like look as awesome as possible, and it does look great. The movie it's very slight.
Yeah.
There's not that much to it.
It's kind of like as if someone wanted to make an epilogue to the biker wave of film, and they're like, in this movie, all the bikers are good guys, and they're also just going to get massacred. They barely don't even kill any of the bad guys in the film.
Yeah, I mean, this is the death of the biker movie that you watch.
Rest in peace. It pops up on screen right before the credits roll.
All the bikers die, and there are no more bikers left.
Yeah.
It's just what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's very slight. There's not much to it. But I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I thought it was just
stylish.
Lots of squibs. It's not too long.
Nope.
It doesn't.
Pretty sure it's like it's an hour and 20 something.
Yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome at all, and it's just an enjoyable time. I would totally watch it. I was totally happy to watch it. I would even recommend it to someone looking for sort of a biker movie that's got violence in it, like because
doesn't make it into the canon.
Now that's an interesting question. How do you feel, Justin?
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
Let's
you know
just
what? Because I actually enjoyed it.
Yes.
Because right now the canon is like Joe, The Wicked Die Slow.
There's Inga and another one.
Is there?
Yeah, the one with Anita Ekberg.
Oh really? We put that one in
because your logic was, and we haven't talked about this one since that episode, was that it was made in-house at Canon to imitate the Joe Sarno style.
I forget the name of that one though for some reason.
That one, Lady in Red Kills 7 Times.
Lady in Red Kills 7 Times, and this.
Yes.
Which is actually not bad. Now I went back and I did listen to the Wicked Die Slow episode. The reason we put it in is because it is the first kind of example of a truly nasty film that Canon put out, and there's a bunch of nasty films later on, so I think that actually does get its place. It's totally unwatchable, but it still gets its place. This, very watchable.
Very watchable. Commentary on an exploitative theme that is being brought to an end, because something that's going to happen in the next few movies too is this kind of era of 70s exploitation is going to start to fade from the Canon catalog, and you're going to get more of the slick stuff that Golan and Globus brought to the table. Because in only a few films, Golan and Globus basically take over.
Yeah.
So you could justify this historically as this is the end of these kind of movies that Canon made. So that's why it's in the canon. Also, an enjoyable film.
So, what we we recommend you watch this.
Yes.
What else can we recommend, Justin?
Well, I'm going to recommend a movie called Hollywood Man. So I discovered this film because I watched a film called The Gravy Train, aka The Dion Brothers, which is a Stacy Keach film that was supposed to be directed by Terrence Malick. He directed like 2 days on it. He got fired from it. And another director named Jack Starrett, who's known for directing biker movies, came in and finished it off. Now, The Dion Brothers, aka Gravy Train, is an amazing movie. It ends in like a 30-minute like cat and mouse gunfight. It's a funny film. It's still the Terrence Malick script. I loved it so much that I went to discover this guy's filmography, and one of them is Hollywood Man, which is about a guy who wants to make a biker film. And that's what it's all about. And it ends in one of those gloomy, like, I can't believe this movie is so depressing 70s ending that could only exist in the 70s, where you're wait, what?
Yeah, don't spoil it for me. I'm excited. I want to watch this.
It's good, and it's actually a movie that's been kind of floating in the public domain. It's very easy to find on YouTube. So I would really highly recommend to go check it out. And what are you recommending?
So, when I mentioned what I was going to rent to already, you were like, that's hilarious. So, because what I'm recommending is, Well, it's a Pierre Fonda movie, and it's a Pierre Fonda movie where he plays a biker, and he's traveling across America. It's the famous Pierre Fonda movie where he plays a biker traveling across America. It's
Race with the Devil.
Race with the Devil.
Which is also directed by Jack Starrett. And I already said I was going to pick Hollywood Man before you said Race with the Devil.
But, obviously that is not the famous Pierre Fonda movie we're doing.
Race with the Devil, I think it's pretty famous.
Well, it's not Easy Rider though, is it?
No. And, Race with the Devil also has an ending where you're like, wait, what?
But Race with the Devil is great. Basically, Pierre Fonda and Warren Oates.
Warren Oates.
Yep, there are a couple of guys who love motorcycling, and they've decided to go on sort of like a trip to. They're going to Aspen for some reason.
Aspen. Where women.
Witchcraft.
It's a Dumb and Dumber quote. Where it's like, I don't know. I'm terrible at quotes.
What a flop that was! Everyone listening to this podcast is like, yeah, exactly. If you don't cut it out, as you often do.
Wait. I want to find that quote. Continue talking about Red.
He wants to find a Dumb and Dumber quote. That's the level this podcast is at. So they're heading to Aspen, where the women are. Where the women are.
I don't have it.
Where the women are.
I don't know, Lloyd. Those French are assholes. That's all I got.
Boo! Boo! If you would like to send fruit that I can throw at Justin, just email that fruit to loosecannonspodcast@gmail.com. That's how the internet works now, right?
Yeah, you can throw fruit.
Anyway, Race of the Devil, they're going to Aspen, and then they're sort of like just traveling on their RV, and they accidentally see like a satanic cult doing some satanic stuff, and then the whole movie is them being chased by the satanic cult, and it's one of those like great movies where characters like they go somewhere where they think that they're safe, but then it's revealed that everyone in the town is in on the cult, and you're like, no! And then they have to escape again. It's great. I just love that type of thing.
Great stunt work, gritty, feels like a 70s movie.
Got that amazing scene of nothing.
Alright, well, my name's Justin LeClue.
And I was Matthew Kumar.
And you've been listening to Loose Cannon!
Hi, everybody.